Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. You want to see the video games that influence the video games that people play now? How about every game? Well, we're currently in August of 1982 and we're playing it all. We last played Meteor Storm on the Atari home computer, one of the best ways you could play a lunar lander variant. Let's see what our next game is. We're still hanging out on the Atari home computer. This is Micro Sailing. Let's see what Micro Sailing's all about, starting with the box. This is another one by APX, Atari Program Exchange. As usual, the front of the box is not really telling us too much, but it was re-released later by fully documented Main Street Publishing as Microsailing. They just kind of mashed it all together, but I don't think it explains sailing at all. If this is the real box, why is Indiana Jones on the front cover? Flip it over in the back. This is part of their Best of the Best series. It's a yacht racing game for 1 or 2 players. Sailors race around the buoys, competing against each other or the computer. The game teaches the basic sailing maneuvers of tacking and jibbing. Boat speed is dependent on good helmsmanship and wind conditions. There's 4 courses of varying difficulty. Experienced sailors elect to sail in stormy weather. The game offers 2 sets of rules. Standard, ignore boat collisions. Advanced follows the right-of-way rules of North American Yacht Racing Union. Whoa, it sounds like they're going to need to release this on the Intellivision. Because Intellivision got every National League, Major League Baseball, National Football League, they should have been on there. Whatever set of rules you use. Notice it says on the back, this later release has the Atari 800 XL and the 130 XE. First time we've seen that on the channel so far. Yes, I didn't know Indiana Jones owned a yacht, but I guess he did. So this is the 5 1/4 floppy disk you would have popped in, but most likely you'd be playing this on cassette. This is a bizarre idea. We also have the manual for Micro Sailing. Let's see how to play this. Yeah, if it's real, it says teaching tacking and jibbing. Now, does this mean that it's an educational game, or is it a real video game like arcade game? This is by Glenn Faden. Way to go, Glenn. There it is. Oh yeah, showing off all the different systems. So when it was on APX, that was the first release. You can see 400 or 800 home computer is what you need. Microsailing is the yacht racing game. Boat speed is dependent on good helmsmanship, and the joystick is the tiller as you follow the courses laid out by the race committee. The program helps remind you of the course by coloring the next buoy to be rounded to match your yacht's color. The race ends when one player crosses the finish line after rounding all the marks. The program displays the best time for all races, so you get high scores too, like an arcade game. It looks like we need 32K in our Atari for this one, and if you want to contact the author, he's at Fremont, California. And then here's how you load it up. First display screen shows microsailing and gives us information. This has got to be pretty technical. Okay, we're only halfway through the manual. It's not that big. But you select how many people you want to play. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2-player a competitive game. It is a racing game. It is the very first racing game with sailing that we've ever seen across all video games. You even have weather options. You can do clear skies or play in stormy black thunderstorm moves. That sounds crazy. Yes. Yes, the Atari printer is one of the... I don't know why you would need the printer, though. Maybe when we get in the game, it'll tell us if we're going to use the printer. Yes, this is the very first tacking and jibbing game of all the video games we played so far. When you finish selecting the number of players, weather, and rules, press start, and then you begin on the race course. It'll show you a boat that goes around and explains the course that you need to sail, and then you sail it. You have to... How do they control this? Oh my gosh, look, they have the technical ability showing the direction for all the courses going around the buoys. Wow. Real race diagrams. And then how to steer. You're going to do this with your Atari VCS joystick. So the same joystick we've used on Donkey Kong on Atari VCS and on King Kong, we're going to use that same joystick to play this a simulation or a vehicle simulation of being on a yacht. Yes, that's how you print off your sails to play. That makes sense. Anything can happen on Atari Program Exchange. So the boat's initially pointing into the wind. This is called in irons. Hold the joystick controller with the red button in the upper left corner, like usual. To get moving, push the joystick to the left. Notice the boat turns to the left. Whenever you move the joystick to the left, the boat turns counterclockwise. And then push the joystick to the right to turn clockwise. The boat speed depends on the angle of the boat to the wind. When the boat points to the left, the wind strikes the right starboard side first. Wow, this is very technical. As you gradually steer to the left, the sail flips to the other side. This maneuver is called a jib. You're now on port tack because the wind is striking the left side of your boat. If you continue to move the joystick tiller to the left, the boat tacks back to starboard tack. This is like sailing. This is the most complicated sailing. Now, this is pretty much the only sailing game we've ever played. Of all the video games so far, there has been sailing games sort of on mainframe and terminal, but we have played games that had sailing in them, but all it was, you move your character around from a Crystalware game on the Atari, and the character gets in the boat and moves the exact same way as if they are on land. So it's really not sailing. It's just you're now represented by a boat symbol and you're sailing on the water. Yes, maybe it was, because we played pirate games that had sailing, but not like this. This is actual sailing, the first video game ever to have it. If you select stormy weather, be careful. 5 seconds before a storm appears, the clouds darken and the word warning displays in the upper right corner. Oh my gosh, we're definitely not doing that. And then whenever the music starts, you're prepared to race, and you can race with 2 people. If you have a friend around, you can have 2 people racing like any other racing game. So cool. And then you can also do the advanced game. It adds another level of strategy, including the right-of-way rules of the North American Yacht Racing Union. The NARU rules. Oh my gosh, and here it is, the NARU rules. We don't want to break those. After the race is over, the boat crossed the finish line or the race is canceled. You can reselect any game options and then keep on going. And I bet it has, like usual, APX gives you the review form. How was this game? Did you enjoy this game?
Spanish, German, French.
So this one is programmed in BASIC. Let's pop in and play Micro Sailing by Glenn Faden, published by APX and then later by Main Street Publishing at the beginning of August 1982. Yes, attack, jib, print. They gotta have a printing option. Well, most of the time when we see on APX, they just tell you all the things that are out that you can buy from Atari. So all the peripherals, whether the game uses it or not. I don't know why. Hey, sailing. Okay, there we go. So we can pick between player versus computer, advanced rules, stormy weather, standard rules, or clear weather, and then player versus player. All right, so we'll go do player versus computer. Probably going to die. We'll see what happens. Pushing start on our computer. I've never experienced a sailing game ever, so I can't believe we're in August 1982 playing a sailing game. They're building the course for us. Looks like this will be the first one. And then they're showing a ship. That's the ship moving around the buoys for course 1, showing us where to go. This is probably going to be a disaster. I'll let you know which ship I am. I would love to play this with another person, so we're both... And then they have the song. I'm going against the Atari. All right, so I'm player 1 on the left side as the pink ship. I have to... Oh, it actually works pretty well. The wind is showing us where it's blowing from. Let me go turn around this side and then make my way past the line here. There you go. So you can see when I go to the top, the wind doesn't really blow very hard. Wow, that's so cool. It actually is following the wind that's blowing down on us right now. All right, I'm going around the buoy at the top. Wow, what an ambitious racing game. This is unlike any other racing game that we've ever played. That I've ever played. You can see I'm rounding the buoy on the left side, and I have to follow what the wind patterns are, and they even have a time for us. Oh, it looks like I haven't got through any buoys. Only Atari is doing it correctly, because I didn't go around the first port, or the first buoy. And so it's following it's now showing Atari where to go, so I gotta go to the first one in the middle. Oh man, yeah, Atari definitely knows what they're doing. That's so fascinating, though. It's following the wind. It is not an arcade game. It's making me feel like this is a ship. Yeah, so I got the first one. Let's keep going to the top. I'm losing, but I'm understanding how it works. Moving your ship left and right. And controls are very responsive. Despite the fact that I'm losing, I understand what I need to do with the wind. Come on, around the buoy. There you go. All right, then we go around the right side, and you can see races over Atari. Blew me out of the water. Yeah, as far as gameplay, this is one of the most original games we've seen across all formats. It's a competitive racing game. It involves sailing and competitive sailing, even using real rules if you wanted to. Atari is the winner. And then we go to the next course. I don't know how well we're going to fare this one. So you can see which way to follow. Got it. All right. I'm memorizing the course. That's a good point. Zelda Wind Waker, even way before the GameCube. Having to learn how to sail a ship in August of 1982. We just played King Kong on the Atari VCS, and now we're playing this. So I get on the pink sailboat on the left side. Starboard is showing us also which direction, if we're port tack, or starboard or port, so that's very helpful too. If you look down on the side, let's go around the buoy this way, and I need to get it to highlight my side. And I also have to pay attention to the wind, where that's going. At least Atari is just wasting time for a little bit while I sail around. Got it. All right, so the first one's done. It looks like I'm up now. Let's keep going. Come on, come on. Go. It looks like they won't let us crash into one another, so I can't sabotage the other player. You have to play fair. All right, now you see he's caught up. I'm catching up to him. Got to figure out how to use the wind the best way. Wow. Yes, that's a good point. Machine language subroutines are in this. Yeah. Because the characters are on the screen, they've made themselves. Nicely done. Oh, Atari is still ahead. Oh, I got to think. They're using the wind. Because the wind's currently blowing. Yep. Wow. It is teaching you, though, how it works with the sailboat. So fascinating. Yeah, the developer, I can understand why this got picked up by another company, because this is extremely original. I don't think we're going to see anything like this for a very, very long time. All right, believe it or not, I actually want to keep going. I want to keep playing microsailing. I want to get better at it, and I want to be able to have someone else to play with. That's pretty fun. Of all the games you can play, it's definitely an above-average game. I'm going to start it at 3.5 stars, considering everything we've seen up to this point. There is no other game that is this technical with sailing and does anything with sailing like this. This is a true original. Errol's going 4 stars of all the games you can play. I wouldn't rate it as like one of the best games you could play on a home computer, but out there, this is a 3.5, 4-star game easily. Yeah, 4 at least. Now, it will take a little while to get used to, but I have never played this game. That was me just figuring out how to use my ship with the Atari VCS joystick, and it worked really well. It was very responsive. It didn't feel clunky. 3.5 or 4. Yeah, I'm going to go 4. I'm a fan. Microsailing is a true experience and something really cool for 1982. All right, let's see what's next. We're now going to the Apple II, and this is a Microscopic Journey. This one is a really hard one to come by. I couldn't find a lot of box or any other artwork except a few screenshots, so we're just going to pop in and play by Dan Sullivan, published by the Hayden Book Company. Microscopic Journey, at the beginning of August 1982. I think this one I'm going to have to speed up because it just wants to take its sweet time to load. There we go. Dan Sullivan, ready to rock? Let's do this. All right, so this one is another game that's based on the movie Fantastic Voyage, where you're shrunk down in a super small size and you want to go through a human body and destroy things. But it doesn't do what another game we've played earlier this year in February called Microbe does. This one isn't, they didn't get a doctor to recommend this game. All right, so do you want to, no, we do not. All right, so we're in. I am the black ship. Need to slide forward, nice and easy. So I'm going through a vessel now, avoiding the cells. Oh, I got one attached to me. Oh, and if you run at the side of the blood vessel, it damages it. And it's going to have to repair it. Yeah, Errol, that was done in BASIC. Microsailing was. Very impressive. All right, we're prepared for re-entry. So the concept is a cool idea. We've only seen 1 or 2 other games that have this idea to go inside of a human body or rip off Fantastic Voyage. Oh, look, you see, there's parts attaching to my ship that I have to avoid and laser them out. Uh-oh. Oh, blood vessel hull dissolving. No, get it off. It is very clunky. If you want to think of it like a shoot 'em up, you know, a scrolling shoot 'em up. The idea though is better than Microbe that we saw earlier in February 1982, where they were going very, very technical. It was more of a strategy style game. I like how this one is taking an arcade approach where let's just fly through and shoot stuff in the human body. That's a lot more fun. But this one's so hard to find gameplay for that I haven't seen if there's anything next, or what we're seeing here moving through this one blood vessel is all the game is. Or like, do we go to any other parts? It shows that our destination is the heart, but whenever I've seen other people do gameplay for this or play far enough, they play about 30 minutes and there's nothing else that happens. It's all on this screen, so I don't know for sure if there's anything after this. Yeah, it is very, very difficult. It is being controlled with the atari, the Apple paddles. So you can notice I'm just sliding up and down on the screen. It doesn't do nearly as much as the other one. Oh yes, we haven't seen that one on the VCS yet. So that one hasn't been released yet. We've only seen 1 or 2 other games besides this one that rip off Fantastic Voyage. Yeah, it does feel like we're on a slippery slide. For controls, though, it's pretty bad. We played other scrolling shooters or shoot 'em ups that work a lot better. All the Scramble variants or Super Cobra variants, those are all out there, and those work much better than this one. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just stop there. It has a cool idea of pretending you're shrunk in size for a microscopic journey, but for all the games you could play, it doesn't deliver. It's very simplistic. I can understand why this one went under the radar. I'm going to actually go down to 2 stars just because of the control. The look of it and the idea of how they got it to draw or scroll through the blood vessel is actually really impressive. The gameplay is what brings this down into the bad range. 2 stars for me. I'm seeing 2 stars from Mikey. And while I give you the sights and sounds of video games, the real reason we're here is the gameplay. And I know I'm the only one playing the games, but I'll do my best to describe how it feels as far as if you were to control it with a Apple paddle controller. All right, so after Microscopic Journey, I really wanted something more from that one. Let's see what's next. Yes, it's the Commodore 64, the brand new Commodore 64. This is Mole Attack, the second game we've ever seen that you could play on your brand new Commodore 64. So this box looks pretty much like the Commodore Max machine because essentially what we're going to do is take the cartridge from the Commodore Max and plug it into our Commodore 64 because you're going to be playing the same game. If you've seen this one before, we played it already on the Commodore VIC-20 and on the Max machine. It is a whack-a-mole style game. Yeah, let's go ahead and just pop in and play Mole Attack, developed by HAL Laboratory. KC Club Kirby is here. He knew it was coming. The beginning of August 1982. There you go. It looks like the Commodore VIC-20 and the Max machine. It probably is going to play the same. I'm really hoping it does better music. So the controls are still nothing you can do with a joystick. Everything's on the keyboard. Those are the keys T, Y, U, G, H, J, B, and M to hit and whack some moles. All right, let's go. I'm ready to whack. Yep, looks pretty much the same. Don't hit the butts of the... Oh, yeah, don't hit the butts of the moles. You want to hit the tops of their heads. There they are. It is charming. This one is actually on lots of computers. Besides the 3 we've seen, we're going to see 4 or 5 other ones for Japanese home computers too. Those Japanese home computer games, though, are so difficult to pin down when the release date is. You have to scour through Japanese magazines, and if you don't know Japanese, then you're not really going to know the best dates for them. So sadly, I'm doing my best, but we're not getting the best release dates. Hey! All right, so after that, that's pretty much Mole Attack. Of all the games you could play, how hard up are you to play a whack-a-mole style game? I would still say it's still around the average range if you think of all the games you could play. And if you have a hard spot for HAL Laboratory like I do, I would still want to hit it around 3 stars. It's well done, it's charming, and it is exactly what it tells you it wants to be. It wants to be whack-a-mole, and now you can play it on your home computer. So I'm going to say 3 stars. Just like we did for Commodore Max Machine and the Commodore VIC-20. Yes, I know, I saw it too. All right, after that, let's see our next game. We're back on the Atari home computer. This is Moonbase IO. Moonbase IO is a very unique video game. We're going to start with the box. This is 32K for the disc or 16K for the cassette. You'll need the joystick to play. It's the battle for the moons of Jupiter. The front of the box has a lot to be desired. We're shooting stuff, and we're going to shoot stuff, but we've seen better boxes. Actually, it's kind of what we'd see for a home computer game. Let's Shoot Things by Atari. So this is by PDI, Program Design Incorporated. And this one allows you to use, from the two different versions, you can actually hear the cassette tape play voices while you're playing the game. So it is one of the first times that the cassette tape will play audio tracks and also gameplay at the same time. Imagine you're waking from a deep, deep sleep. You find that you're the only human in a spacecraft silently gliding through deep space. So begins the adventure of Moonbase IO. A voice cassette narrates the adventure while the computer represents the player with several distinctive and challenging arcade battle scenes. Dazzling machine language graphics combined with rich sound effects make this one of the most exciting space games available for the Atari computer. And they're not lying, because the audio comes from the cassette tape rather than the game itself. They're not going to use the Poke Chip, or not as much in the Atari. Here's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. Blast your way through alien minefields. Defend the moon bases from an attacking alien armada. It won't be easy. To win, you'll need to mount heroic assault on the alien mothership. And then there's the cassette. This is, you can see the voice cassette. Side A is long narration. And if you have it on disc, it's a different game. It's a slightly different game, depending on which one. Oh, the Coco did too. That's a good point. You could see those kind of things on educational games where the cassette is talking, or the audio side. For video games, though, we haven't seen as much. All right, so here's the manual for Moonbase IO, which you're talking about the moon on Jupiter. Jupiter's moon, IO. All right, so background. The idea behind Moonbase IO, they give you the pronunciation, was inspired by the flights of Voyagers 1 and 2, which took detailed pictures of Jupiter and its moons. Jupiter is the largest, most spectacular of the planets in our solar system. See, now I'm wondering, Curtis, is this an educational game? Because now they're telling us all about Jupiter's moons. Jupiter's largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, range in size from slightly smaller than our moon to a little larger than the planet Mercury. They were the first bodies in the solar system to be discovered with a telescope by Galileo in 1610. Yeah, it's an educational this is not marketed as an educational title, but the manual sure feel like it is. All right, so you have the 3 moons, yes, traveling to Jupiter. Yeah, so they give us a little educational spiel in the beginning. And then the score of the game, you actually are going to be shooting stuff up. The cassette, if you do have the cassette version, has 2 sides. Side A contains a long narration to be used the first time the game is played. Side B contains a short narration to be used thereafter. So you accumulate a reserve defender ship each time your score turns 1,000 points, up to a maximum of 7 ships at level 0. The reserve ships carry over from moon-based battle to moon-based battle. The higher skill level, the farther the ship has to go in order to reach the moon. In addition, the higher skill level, the faster are the approaches to the moon. Yes. Yeah, if it educates you in the manual, does that mean it is an educational game or not? Occasionally, the alien force sends out a wave of invisible scout ships during a moon battle. You'll know when this happens because there appears to be a break in the action. These ships cannot fire at you. But even though you're invisible, you can hit them and score points. Gotta get those points. So how do we use this? This is a unique game. You have the joystick plugged into Jack 1 of your Atari computer, your Atari 800 computer. Remove any cartridges from the basic cartridge, insert the cassette side A up, and rewind it to the beginning, then push play. Now, if you have the disc version, it's going to be a lot different. The disc version has the cassette and speech and sound effects all included in it, but the cassette version has them separate. They break them apart. All right, so if you can see the voice will announce the title of the program. The cassette will turn off automatically when the message press trigger for level number appears on the screen. Wait for the level number and then continue. And then you can see what the cassette version does for how to boot that one up. And then the other games we are going to see by PDI. Keep your eye on PDI. All right, let's pop in and play some Moonbase IO by John Canopa at the beginning of August 1982. So the true experience of this game is having the voice over while you're playing right now by John Canopa and the sound effects from the cassette tape. However, I cannot emulate or create the sound effects because you have to have the actual cassette tape and play those sound effects. I'm going to include links down below for where I found another person that was able to do the full experience, sort of. The audio is kind of muted, but it's to Stu's Game Reviews. So check the links down below if you want to hear the cassette of what the full experience is like to play Starbase IO. All right, so what do we want to do? Press the trigger for what level? Oh, it's scrolling through the levels. So at this point, I think the president is giving you an address or tells you that you need to save the world or something. And after you hear from the president, then you select what level you want. All right, so let's go. Level 1. Let's do it. I love the good color commentary. Keep it coming. Okay, we're in. So it is a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. Notice that the stars and everything are scrolling all together. Oh man, they're trapping us in there, and the score's at the bottom left. All you have to do is survive and make it to the next screen. The enemies aren't doing to fly at us. It almost feels like we're shooting mines, but we have to make our way through or break through the level. Well, barely made it through that one. There we go, speeding up a little bit. And you can see we have some... Oh, wait, can I blow up the side? I just realized I started to shoot, and it knocked a piece away. But, I mean, take a look at that scrolling. That's really good. All right, so we're going to go in here. It's time to refuel. Yeah, it did seem like it was a real training course of how to sail an actual ship. I now want to go on a real sailing ship. I'm ready. All this on your Atari. All right, teleporting to the moon's surface. Now we switch it up. Now it's a completely different game. We're no longer a vertically scrolling shooter. We're looking more like Phoenix or Galaxian. Let's see, take him out. Oh, they got me. So switching up the gameplay to 2 different modes is a really nice touch. Whoa. Turn over cassette B and push down play, press the trigger to go again. So the entire game consists of those 2 screens, and they repeat, usually changing the colors a little bit. The main big draw of the game is the voices from the cassette and the sound effects you're going to get from this cassette. Yeah, not educational at all. But if you want some education, maybe you tell your parents, read the manual, and then they think you're playing something educational. All right, so for something this creative, I actually want to go higher than our usual. I like the idea of having the cassette add audio and add sound effects. While I couldn't showcase this on the channel, I'm still going to think around 3.5 stars of all the games you can play, above average for Moonbase IO. And if you want to see or hear the cassette, I'll include links down below. Really interesting idea. Not the first time that this has been done, but this is one of the first. It's very early on. We play a lot of educational titles here, and we don't play them all, but there are some out there that you could have played right now. I see 3 or 2.5. Yeah, that's true. Having the 2 modes of this vertically scrolling and that is also pretty cool. What really drives it over the top, though, is the cassette audio. Yeah, it was pretty good audio. It sounded like the president was talking to you or something from Mission Impossible whenever you hear it. It's pretty good. All right, let's see what our next game is. It's time to go to the United Kingdom and play on our BBC Micro. Are you the rich kid that had the BBC Micro instead of the ZX81 and ZX Spectrum? And this is Munchy Man. Munchy Man. I like the sound of that one. Let's take a look at the box for Munchy Man. Available for both BBC models A or B, but you know you got the B, more memory. That is a very bare bones front of the box. Obviously, Munchy Man is going to munch up some ghosts, and we're going to play some Pac-Man. They didn't really spend too much time on the marketing of this one. Flip it over in the back, and you can see that we're really holding a cassette in the palm of our hand. And let's pop in and play Munchy Man. This is by Program Power at the beginning of August 1982. Oh, they had the BBC Micro. Did they shell out the Model B? Yeah, the Spectrum is what most people would have had by now. Well, if you got it in the mail, because you ordered it, it didn't necessarily come at the right time that you wanted it to. What? The game just crashed. I didn't do anything, and the game crashed. Oh, I'm scared now. We haven't seen crashes for a while. All right, let's try it again. Uh-oh. Looks like we'll just have to go into the game. Trapped in a maze with dreaded munchies, you gobble up all the dots and strip them of their power. If you clear one sheet, you'll automatically advance to the next, but beware, the more points you score, the more aggressive the munchies become. To help you are 4 power cells located in the corners. The munchies will turn green to yellow, and you have the opportunity to eat them. Oh yes, I'd like to know what the expense cost would be for an Apple II in Europe. So here's Munchy Man. There's the dot star and points. It's all keyboard controlled. There is no joystick that we can use on our BBC Micro. It's up, down, left, and right. Let's go. We're ready to play. So just take a look at the controls. What in the world? Wait a second. Okay, so it looks the part, but I'm already thrown off because the controls don't... What in the world? Okay, so it looks like Pac-Man. I'm controlling the red face over on the right side. We can see the power cells. They exist. Got it. And we're picking up the dots. So you understand that Munchy Man is we're playing a Pac-Man variant. But here's the thing. There has been no Pac-Man game we've played so far that controls like this. I am having to tap the button to go each tile to move Pac-Man. It is not moving by itself. There has been no Pac-Man that's done this. We've had Pac-Mans that do move tile to tile, but it continues to move forward like holding the button down. But on the keyboard, it doesn't even... Yeah, it doesn't even do that. What? You've been munched 3 times. Another game. Sure, yeah, we'll do another game. The colors, yes. Oh, it's not that bad. My eyes are okay. I'm just bleeding a little bit out of this eye, I think. Yeah, this is the most bizarre controls for a Pac-Man game. We have to tap. I cannot continue to move in one direction. Wow. I have to tap every single time to move every tile. So this is the Pac-Man game where you're going to lose the most calories because you have to continue to tap every single time. When I want to move one space, I got to tap. I can't hold. No, you can't even hold it down. Wow. Gosh, yes. They are giving us very, very blatant colors. Now, the BBC Micro, these colors may not be exactly accurate to what the BBC Micro had, but we've seen better ones. We had Defender and Planetoid that really emulated or showed Defender that you could play on the BBC Micro. So I know they could have done better. And there's also been much better Pac-Man style games. We've already seen 3D Pac-Man, 3D Ghost Mania, that's on the TRS-80 color computer. We've also seen other Pac-Man variants like Lock and Chase. So considering this is a step back for Pac-Man style games. We've even seen games on home consoles that changed it up, like Cat Tracks on the Arcadia. So if you want to play a really good or recent good Pac-Man variant, check out Caterpillar. That's on the Atari. This one, though, the control is what brings it way down. And it's so simple, bare bones. Yeah, that's scary bad. Not quite a punt game. I don't know. The control makes me almost want to punt it. That's really bad. It is bad. I'm going to say of all the games you could play on a home computer, it's 2 stars. But bear in mind, if you had the BBC Micro, this is the only Pac-Man style game you could play right now. This is it. This is all you got. You did have friends, if they had the ZX81 or the ZX Spectrum, they could be playing Pac-Man style games like Gulp Man. That's out there. But yes, maybe I did. If I haven't died yet from radiation, it's going to happen soon. All right, so I'm going to go 2 stars. I see a 1 from Arrow. Oh, 1 star. That's closer to the broken range. Yeah, it's close. It's low. Yeah, I'm going to go lower. We'll go 1.5 star for Munchy Man. It's definitely bad. It's not quite broken because I just think if I had the BBC Micro and I wanted to play Pac-Man, this is the only way that you could play it. You would find some enjoyment if you had no other option, and you know what I'm talking about. All right, let's see what our next game is. We're still going to hang out in the United Kingdom and play on our Commodore VIC-20. This is the Mysterious Island. I saw the half star. Oh my gosh. All right, Mysterious Island is another unique game. The United Kingdom is bringing some really unique ones out there. Here is the box for the Mysterious Island, a Jules Verne graphic Vic venture. You need 16K expansion. That is the largest expansion for any VIC-20 game we've seen thus far. And again, in the United Kingdom, that's pricey, man, to pay for the memory. This is by Mr. Micro. That's cute. Mr. Micro's got a heart. So this one has a cassette, parts 1 and 2. Yeah, there we go. We also have a practice side of the cassette. An example of the screenshot, too. Here is what was the inside sleeve of the Mysterious Island. Yeah, full graphics display, several games that lead up to an exciting climax. Separate practice program, and then a blank data tape to store the game to play later. That's nice. They give you a place to save. Oh, Vic Venture. Yeah, there's no trademark by it. Quick, take it now. Unless it's too late. So the adventure starts after escaping from prison in a hot air balloon which descends to a small, inhospitable island. Once you've landed, the fun really begins. There's booby trap fields, killer bees, hives to raid you for injury, and natives to be bribed. Enter the caves to find clues hidden under a mosaic floor, avoiding the crabs at all costs. Then negotiate a force field to capture the Nautilus and you're almost home, but not quite. This game requires skill and quick reflexes. All successful adventurers can claim a unique personalized award by sending Mr. Micro their final surface position at the end of the game. That's right. That means this is another game that will give you a reward for beating the game. It pays to play video games. And then here's our playing instructions. If that wasn't cryptic enough, you can use this too. Whether you play each game as part of the full adventure or play with the practice tape, the instructions are the same. This is one of two. I can only think of one other game that has mini games. You boot the game up and you do one segment that begins a lot like the game we played in the arcade called Fantasy. So it starts that way with a balloon, and then you land and go to a different scene and go to a different scene. But the difference here is every time afterwards has just quick mini games. They're really, really fast mini games and slight puzzles that you're meant to go through fast. Yes, bribing natives, what everyone did on video games in 1982. There's only one way to land on the balloon part. You have to steer your way to the island and pick up energy from the energy field, avoiding the giant bees who are intent on harvesting the energy. Watch out for the treacherous crosswinds which blow across the island and steer you off course. Then you use the energy. Once the energy drops to level 1, you'll be thrown into one of the 2 energy games to pick up more energy. One of them is the Honey Drop game that is safe and sedate but gives low rewards. The other is Bee Sting, a dangerous but very rewarding game. And it explains how to play the Honey Drop game, the Bee Sting game, and then the Bee Hive game is a game of strategy and gambling. Escape at the bottom of the hive, you should find your way. However, you find your way blocked by bees or cell walls. Yeah, there's a lot going to this. And then there's even the treasure, which is the ultimate goal of the game. And then the killer crab area, how to go through that. And then the cave area. I mean, look, all these mini games are here. And there's also the Nautilus defense game, the sub escape game, and then the end, and then you can save your adventure, because there's the practice cassette that you just go through all the mini games, and then you have the full game to play and try to get to the end, playing everything. Yeah, it's incredible. I can't believe it. Oh yes, Funky Town. I remember that from when we played Fantasy. I don't know if it is. Let's pop it and play The Mysterious Island by Jim Sheehan, published by Mr. Micro in the beginning of August 1982. We saw Fantasy in the arcades in October 1981. Now, this was on cassette, but you notice that I just loaded this on disc. I found the disc version, and I just find it so funny to play the disc version of this because nobody had the disc version on the Commodore VIC-20. No one was paying the money for the disc version in the United Kingdom on the Commodore VIC-20, but we are. I just find it hilarious. All right, let's go. All right, so which part do we want? Let's go with... Here we go. We're in. I'm playing right now as the balloon, moving slowly down to the side. Let's pick up some modules of energy so we can play some more mini games. Oh, don't kill me. Okay, good. They missed. Oh, they hit the top of the balloon, though. I love that shake effect on the VIC-20. Splat. Another victim of the mysterious island. Press any key. I will. When I can find the any key. And it says Jules Verne here, even though the front of the box just says Mysterious Island. I don't see Jules Verne anywhere. Quickly. Oh, they can wrap around the screen. Nice, didn't know that. Okay, picking up some energy modules. Now, you see where the island is. It's down at the bottom. I got to make a landing on that island without letting the bees get to me. Let's just keep going. Nice and easy. I think we can go down here. The patterns of the bees are very erratic. They're all over the place. Nice and easy, go. I'm only able to move this slowly. Oh my gosh, he just flies out of nowhere. And dead. So this is the first minigame of, I think it was 6 or 7 minigames. Yeah, I love the shake effect too. Come on. It is a very slow start. Go over, get that one. Nice. Okay, we got one below us. I think we can get to that one. Let's see. If there's no bees that'll get us. They fly so fast. And this is as slow as you can go. You move one tile at a time at this pace. Come on. I can't go any faster down. I can't drop any faster. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I made it past that. Go, go, go. Nope. All right, safe. Energy set to 3. And now, what's next? Cool. We're on the island, and now we can move our way to... Let's go over to the top right, where the crab is. I'm going to walk up here. Attack by the killer crabs. And now we go to the killer crab minigame. I am in the center of the screen. I'm still only able to move... I don't know if you could tell. I was the same color as some of the crabs, but I'm in the center of the screen. It took me a while to find out who I was. Into the hive you go. But once you figure out where you are... Oh, wait, we're in the hive. What in the world? Okay, there's a bee there. Let's go over on this side. This is ridiculously bizarre. All right, so we're moving around. Oh, we have a bee here. I don't know. Can I go on the bee? Queen, pay or gamble. You have 9 modules. What? All right, let's try. We'll gamble. Win. We've got 16 modules. So we have bribed the natives or the queen. But now I'm stuck. Darn. So we got to a dead end. So it is a maze, and you have to make your way to the bottom where that white circle is to get out of the hive. Can we get over here? Let's see. Okay, still making our way on the side. All right, so we got another queen, pay or gamble. Let's gamble. We lost. You only have 6 modules left. Oh, we got past him anyway. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's pay. Okay, and we only have 3 modules left. This is so bizarre. This is almost like borderline board game. 3 sub. 5. All right, let's go gamble. Yes. It's pretty much just rolling the dice. It's all random. Oh, and that was a dead end too. How do we get over there? We have to go to the top? And then make our way up here. All right, let's gamble it. Come on, yes! We won. They're already showing children how to gamble in video games. At least it's not loot boxes. Oh, it's a dead end too. So you can see the merits of the game. It is slower paced minigames, but it is lots of variation and lots of styles of games you could play. The quality of each minigame is almost like playing one of those compilations that we see from the United Kingdom, where they pack in, 7 to 10 games, but most of them are middling to bad. But the idea is pretty cool, that the whole experience is you're on an adventure, traveling throughout the island and doing different things. I like it. Of all the games you could play on a home computer, it is intriguing. It makes you want to play more and see what you're going to experience or what's going to happen next. All right, so of all the games you could play, what would you say for Mysterious Island? Is this worth higher than 3 stars? Or is it still around the average range when you consider everything else you could play? Oh, I see. 2.5. All right, nice. Yeah, I don't know if I could go as far as calling it roguelike, because it wasn't generating everything. Every one of those minigames is going to be the same every single time. Hunter's throwing out 3.5 stars. Nice. Yeah, I'll say 3 stars. Of all the games so far, it's still intriguing. It's an interesting experience, and we didn't even see all of it. I showed in the manual everything you could play or see, but it's still very, very, very cool. All right, after that, let's see our next game. We're still in the United Kingdom, playing on our Sinclair ZX81. This is Namtir Raiders. Let's take a look at Namtir Raiders. Starting with the cassette box. This is another one by, I think, Arctic. That looks like the front of their box. And we're going to shoot some stuff up. Oh, yeah. The artwork of the guy in the command module reminds me of something from Atari. If you open the whole thing up, there's all the loading instructions. Make sure you load with the J key, then type the quotation mark key, Shift P twice. Do not press new line yet. Everyone got it? Okay, good. If you saw it in Sinclair User, this is one of the ads you would have seen. It is down there by, way down there in the ZX81 arcade games in the center. Namtir Raiders. High-speed, quick-action arcade game with 4 separate groups of attackers. £4. That's it. £4. That's what I'm talking about when you think of cheap games. There it is. High-speed, fast reflex arcade game. The objective is to shoot down as many raiders as possible without being hit more than 5 times. The raiders come in 4 formations, and you must save the planet Earth. The controls of the game are as follows. Okay, here's what's crazy. The controls are, if you use Q through T, it makes your vehicle move up and left. If you use Y and P, it makes your vehicle move up and right. if you do A through G, you go down and left, and if you do H through new line or enter, it goes down and right, which means this is the very first video game of all the fixed shooters we've ever played that is limiting your control to diagonals. We only can move diagonally, and that's it. There's no other way to move. And we have to defend the bases with a level of difficulty. So the very first, yes, it is so bizarre. All right, so let's pop it and play, or pop in the cassette tape and then attach that to your ZX81, and play Namtir Raiders by John Rittman, published by Arctic Computing in the beginning of August 1982. The most unique control, here we go. All right, so here we go on our ZX81. If I want to move, this is so weird. If I want to move around the screen, I can only move in diagonals. Look, I can only move, okay, so I guess I could do this. Oh, there we go. So if I slide across the bottom, I'm essentially going left and right, like playing Space Invaders. But they give you the option, I wonder why. They give you the option to move up and down diagonally, but they do what other ZX81 games do, which is make it so the controls are several buttons. Because you're playing on that keyboard for the ZX81, the very flat membrane keyboard. And so you would want to have as many buttons as possible. Like, if you can't figure out the controls, just keep mashing stuff and you'll eventually hit something that works. Yeah, so if I play it this way, it just seems like I'm playing a fixed shooter, like Space Invaders, that goes down. But I have the ability to fly everywhere. Look, I can go all over the place. Oh, look, it looks like Phoenix now. Here, let's just zoom in really close and take him out. There it is. Oh, yeah, now I'm getting it. Oh, look. Oh, it has the boss, too. And the boss is everywhere. All right, let's see if we can go left to right. Whoa, and we beat up the boss really fast. Don't adjust your audio. There is no sound on the ZX81. All right, the movement does take a while to get used to. Hey, they got a dying splash screen. Press 1, 2, or 3 to change the speed. Okay, let's go fast. What's 3 look like? Okay, 3 actually looks the same as what we played before. Wow, so cool. Yeah, and this one you could play on the Timex Sinclair 1000. We've already seen 1 or 2 games that have on the front of the box both the ZX81 and the Timex Sinclair 1000. Yeah, the keyboard's so tiny, it makes sense why this is the only home computer we've seen do this, where they have, well, no, ZX Spectrum too, where you have multiple controls for several rows or lines of letters. Yes, Mega Mania Zero, I love that one. All right, so for Namtir Raiders, now it's a little unfair. We're rating this across all home computers. The ZX81 is a tiny little beast, and it would be this would be fun for 1982 if you only had the ZX81 and we were only comparing this game to ZX81. I would say actually it's about 3 stars, 3.5 stars. But because we have seen everything that you could play on a home computer, I'm going to say Namtir Raiders is a subpar affair. It still was all right. I kind of don't want to say bad, but at the same time, the way it's controlled using that keyboard, I'm going to have to say 2 stars. It is a bad game if you think of all the other games you could play on a home computer. It's tricky. I'm seeing Curtis throw out 2.5. Oh, yes. 3 definitely. If it was only for everything on the ZX81, yes. But it's compared to everything else of all the games you could play on home computers, and there's lots of shooters out there. All right. Man, where are we going now? Are we still going to stay in the United Kingdom? Yes, we are. We're now going on the ZX Spectrum, and this is Nightflight. Let's take a look at the box for Nightflight. Oh, that's really crisp. This is by Hewson Consultants. Which ZX Spectrum did you get? The 16K or 48K? Nightflight is a good idea because this is the very first flight simulator for your ZX Spectrum. We've already seen some for the ZX81. This is the very first one you could play on your ZX Spectrum. And they did a good job because making it at night means you can just make the whole thing black and just make a few dots on the screen. Very clever. That's smart. It was released later by Afsoft. I don't know how to pronounce it. You can see they call it Nightflight 1 because we are going to see next year the sequel to Nightflight. And if you flip it open, the whole sleeve explains the different modes. the radio beacon, and gives you some of the instruments and takeoff. And then if you flip open the other Nightflight one, it shows you that you're going to pilot a light aircraft flying at night. Use your skill and judgment to fly accurately over radio beacons and land safely on the runway. Now, don't dog it yet. We had one game that was a flight simulator on the ZX81 that actually was pretty cool. It simplified a lot of it, and it worked. It worked well enough. There was another one, though, that was terrible. So this could be really, really good or really, really bad. Oh, yes, this Houston is going to have some good ones. There's the whole sleeve, how to load the program and the scenario, showing your heading. You're just going to go, every time you play, it's one place you're going to go from one to the other. It's you don't get to fly in different places. Yes, you take control of the light aircraft flying at night, climbing, banking left, banking right, descending, all from your keyboard. I think it's your keyboard. Yeah, because at this point, the first time you can play is going to be keyboard only. But there's a later release for Nightflight that's going to use the Competition Pro joystick. Yeah. There is the ad you would have seen in magazines for Nightflight. They even show you a screenshot on the left side. It's essentially all black with a few dots. Oh, man. Oh, if you love flight simulators and you had the ZX Spectrum, this is the only option right now to play. And there it is. That's the controller, the joystick, the Competition Pro one that's going to be in the later release that you could be using that to fly because, I mean, you want to play a flight simulator, you got to have a joystick. There's our cassette tape to load Nightflight. All right. We also have the manual. If you open up and see the instructions, this is all the scenarios. It has different ways to play. What I'm going to do for brevity is go through the demo instead of playing the game so you can kind of see what it's like. The way the game controls, though, is very, very clunky. It's almost bad, if not as bad as the ZX81 flight simulator. And there's better flight simulators you can play on home computers, specifically on the Atari, the one that was done eventually going to turn into Microsoft Flight Simulator, and then the ones we've seen by Thorn EMI. And then, of course, Apple II has a few good ones as well. All right, let's pop in Nightflight by Mike Mayle, published by Houston Consultants at the beginning of August 1982. Oh, yes, I'm seeing the joystick fans. Nice. All right, so you can see the different game modes. We even have autopilot if you want to do that. Majority of the time you play this flight simulator, you're going to be hearing that, but you're also going to see mostly the instrument panel. I mean, it takes up over half the screen. And even the other one we played on the ZX81, it still was, about half of it. But look at that. All they got to do is program in the dots. Wow. And it allows you to play later with the joystick. But if you had this, as we're playing now in the beginning of August, only on the keyboard, that's rough. That's really rough to play a flight simulator. Look at that. Wow. And this is on the stock ZX Spectrum. And I think this will still work on the 16K because it's advertised on the front. You could have the low-end model of the ZX Spectrum and you're playing a flight simulator. What do you think? Would you be amazed? I would say there's other ones that you play better on a home computer. If you were in the UK, though, this is pretty impressive. It would be fun and quaint, and it's pretty much the only option you have. So you could say it's the best flight simulator ever on the ZX Spectrum. But as far as all the games so far you could play, this one is I'm going to say still it's subpar. I'm not going to say bad because if you consider all the time and effort it took to make this one, and because there's the version later that you can use with the joystick that will add some better playability, but I'm still going to go 2.5 stars of all the games you could play. I'm seeing Errol throw out 2. Yeah, I know, it's a tough sell. Even if you are not into flight simulators, this would be a lower rating. Yikes. Yes, playable 2.5. I see Mikey thrown out there, yeah. It also depends on how this was made. Like, how did they do, how is this programmed? Because, yeah, it's this, if it's for the 16K, that's amazing. That's so impressive. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We are still in the United Kingdom, and we just have to lump in every home computer. This is the Acorn Atom. We're going to play some Omega Mission. Here's the box for Omega Mission by Micromania. It's time to shoot some stuff. Yeah, there we go. With an example of the screenshot. And that's all we got. All right, fingers and toes and everything crossed. We're going to play some Omega Mission by Micromania at the beginning of August, 1982. I'm so scared. All right, let's load this up. I got to get the tape in here. Omega Mission. I got to type slow because the Acorn Atom doesn't like you typing fast. Nice and easy. There you go. Ah! And then run it. All right, load part 2 of the program to the cassette over to the blank side and rewind the tape. So again, we're not actually in 1982 because this would take a lot longer, 5-10 minutes. Maybe go have some tea and then play the game. Ah! So Control Shift, return. Oh my gosh, there's so many things to remember, and the controls are just terrible. Okay, let's see what we got for controls. Okay, got it. No way. Can you guys believe this? This is a scramble variant on the Acorn Atom. This is a feat to behold. Oh, I think we've... Wow. So this is only controlled with the keyboard, and the Acorn Atom keyboard is, like I explained before, I can't type or combine multiple keys together while I'm playing the game. So to move up and down, it is clunky. I'm amazed this exists. I can't believe that... Oh, man. It appears to be scrolling, 2D scrolling. I can't believe it. How did they do this on the Acorn Atom? It makes no sense. Yeah, really, really hard to control, though. I'm just mesmerized that this is working, that I'm able to play on the Acorn Atom like this. Wow. All right, let's see if we can lure them up. There we go. And then I got to get low because it looks like they're going to cut me off on the next screen. So Scramble isn't anything new. We've seen Scramble. Oh, there you go. Sneak underneath them. That's the way to do it. We've seen Scramble since February of 1981, and there's been one other game that we've seen on the Acorn Atom that looks like this or scrolls left to right. I called it the best game on the Acorn Atom so far. It was called Hyperfire. This one outdoes Hyperfire. This is now the contender for the very best video game you could play on your Acorn Atom. So if you're in the United Kingdom right now, this is the killer app or the best video game you could play on the Acorn Atom. Control-wise, though, it's on the Acorn Atom keyboard. It's very clunky. It's very slow. This needs to be controlled with a joystick. And you saw with the controls, I'm also able to move left and right besides just up and down, but I'm keeping it simple to hopefully avoid the enemies. Am I even getting... Oh, there we go. I can shoot them. Okay. They die in what looks like the infinity symbol. Now, if you were familiar with the Acorn Atom keyboard, you would be able to work your way through this. But, I mean, look at this. We're still going. I'm amazed at this. How in the world did this happen? Wow. And does it save, or do we go back to the beginning? Oh, okay. We've broken the top score. What's your name? Wow. Can we go again? Yeah, so you're able to move forward and reverse, too. Let me see if I can try that and what happens. So forward. Okay. So yeah, you have the ability to go forward. How do you go back? There it is. So I want to stay far back, though. We weren't doing very well going forward. No, I don't think I'll make it. This is a true programming marvel. I am blown away at how good this is. That is awesome. Of all the games you could play on the home computer, though, there are better Scramble variants and horizontally scrolling shooters. We just played a really good one by Serious Software, programmed by Nasir Gabelli. So this one would, obviously, that one would blow it out of the water. But you got to admit, though, this is impressive for the Acorn Atom. And I'm amazed that it continues on. Every other game we've seen on the Acorn Atom was pretty much the same repeat, but this one was building or generating. I have no idea how I did it. So while the controls are clunky, it's really it's this computer that's bringing it down. I'll still say 2.5 stars. It's not a bad game. It's subpar, but this, if we were rating everything on the Acorn Atom, this would be a 5-star game for the Acorn Atom. I could see magazine publications just raving about this. Yes, 2 Omegas for it. That's amazing. Yeah, maybe we will. Wow, lots of great games coming from the United Kingdom tonight. Lots of fun to be had. Tune in next episode for some Missile Command or command shooters that really don't act or respond like Missile Command. That's it for today, and like I always say, what is best in life? To crush your enemies with a high score, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of the women. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are Perpetually Retro, and we will catch you next time.